Because your body is enough. You are enough, and you always have been. Today's topic is about body image and the constant yet unattainable pursuit for perfection. And first off, if you're new to my channel, welcome again. And also, I do have a stutter, so I like to mention this, and just so that anyone who's listening to me, if you hear me pause or stumble over my words, I have a mild stutter. So I am talking about this topic of body image because it is something that I feel strongly about, and it is something that I have experienced. Because last year I've really made an effort to improve my diet and to just increase my overall well-being, both mind, body, and soul. I found myself looking in the mirror and criticizing myself over the smallest things. And I just sat down one day and I was like, what am I doing? What is the whole point of this? Why am I being so hypercritical of myself? And the only reason I'm doing that is because I have chosen to believe that my body isn't good enough. But then I had to understand, where did that come from? Who told me that my body was not good enough? Who told me that my hips need to be wider? Who told me that my stomach needs to be flatter? Who told me that my waist is too narrow? Where did that come from? And I know that there are so many women, thousands of women, who have fallen into this cycle of self-criticism. And we need to explore where that is coming from. We live in a world where appearances truly matter. At our core, we as human beings, we are visual creatures. No matter how hard we try and deviate from that, we will always be visual creatures, because how you're perceived, unfortunately or fortunately, can really then determine what opportunities are available to you, the spaces you're welcomed into, and also it can also then determine the type of partner you attract. And I believe that now, in this age of social media, and especially in this age where plastic surgery is on the rise, a lot of women are feeling this constant pressure to mold their bodies to fit the beauty standard of our time. The woman's body has shifted from something that simply existed to now something that is constantly evaluated and compared. And because the standard keeps shifting, it keeps changing. What was considered beautiful 50 years ago looks nothing like what it is today. And I see so many women pushing themselves in the gym, even risking their lives to undergo surgery just because they've been told that a certain body type is better than their own. And it really makes me wonder, when did women's bodies become a trend? Now, when we look at history, we can see that the standard has never been fixed. It always changes with time, and it even changes depending on the country you live in. So when we look at the US specifically, we see that during the Renaissance period, fuller bodies were seen as beautiful. They represented wealth, fertility, and health. Then by the 1920s, that changed. So basically, the thin, boyish figures became ideal. Then in the 1950s, curves returned, so bodies like Marilyn Monroe's were admired. Then in the 1990s and early 2000s, that brought about another shift where thin and then eventually a slimmer natural figure became the standard again. And now in the mid-2000s, we are in the era of the hourglass. And the standard continues to change and change and change, and women are expected to keep up. And now there's the pressure. No matter how hard you try to escape it, the pressure follows you everywhere. On social media, you are bombarded with images of what you are supposed to look like. And behind all these images that we are constantly seeing, there's this unspoken message that says that your body is a direct reflection of your value. We're constantly seeing adverts for teas that claim to give you a flatter stomach, or creams that promise to change your shape and give you a fuller look. We see fitness influencers or fitness programs promising to have the perfect workout to achieve the perfect figure. There's a study published in the Journal of Eating Disorders, and it says the impact of beauty standards is particularly pronounced among young women, for whom physical appearance has become a central factor of self-evaluation. On the one hand, adhering to these standards may lead to greater social acceptance and self-esteem, while deviating from them can result in discrimination or feelings of failure. This is particularly evident in settings such as the workplace and interpersonal relationships, where physical appearance is often associated with competence, confidence, and success. In the US alone, about 68 to 84% of women experience body dissatisfaction. This stats really baffled me. It says that research also shows that only about 8% of women naturally have a true hourglass shape. So why are we making something that's actually not statistically common the standard?
When I see the women out here not really knowing how to dress for their body type, and don't understand why it's so important. Like, they really just be like, oh girl, I'm an hourglass, I'm gonna wear what I want. No, love. And little do you know, hourglass is the least body type that most women have. Okay? So y'all trying to achieve a body type that most women don't even have, love.
No.
Who's the standard?
No. Who is this? We don't know.
This is simply to point out how we have made one body type the ultimate definition of beauty, when that's not actually easily attainable, and most women are not built that way.
Nigeria's beauty industry is rising. Lots of women are trying to make their beauty fit the modern day standards.
So, as I mentioned, beauty standards vary upon not only the time you're in, but also the region you're in. So I myself, I am from Nigeria, and from what I have observed is that in Nigeria, fuller bodies have always been celebrated. I think throughout history, it hasn't really deviated from that really until recently. But I see that having a fuller body in Nigeria has always been considered a sign of wealth, and of especially for women, it's a sign of fertility and being healthy. However, due to Western influence, there's a push in Nigeria towards being slim thick, where women are now using waist trainers or body pads or even surgery to shrink, or also corsets as well. Corsets have now increased a lot, especially in our traditional wear outfits that usually don't call for corsets. Now within the last 5 years, that has really increased in terms of fashion in Nigeria. So women feel this need to attain a small waist while also maintaining larger portions in their chest and in their butt.
Why I want to do a BBL is to boost my confidence. If I had a BBL done, I will walk like I'm walking on the sky.
Your body was never the problem. If you observe that there are a lot of women and celebrities now coming out saying that they have gotten BBL reversals and now they are removing implants from their butts or their breasts and just trying to reverse whatever cosmetic procedure they had done. And I see the trend slowly shifting back to favor a more natural look. And again, as I said, trends rise and fall, and it just goes to show that you are not the problem. Your body is not the problem. Your body shape and type was never the problem. I think social media has made a lot of women feel like their worth is defined by their appearance. Their worth is defined by how they look. And it makes me sad a little bit, because as women, we're so much more than just our looks. And I truly believe that you cannot fix an internal problem with an external solution. And this is not just talking about BBLs. I'm also talking about just things what we do in general to change ourselves. Like lip fillers and liposuction. I'm not against wanting to get your body to look healthier and to look better. It's not about that. Okay, my point is, as women, our drive for self-improvement, our drive for change, especially when it comes to our physical appearance, where is it coming from? What is the source? Is it coming from a place of genuine self-love, or is it coming from a place of hatred? And I think it's the latter for a lot of women. A lot of women are operating from this place of self-hatred, hating themselves into changing themselves. And that's not sustainable. That is not sustainable. As I said, I really think that all these quick fixes that we're trying to do is just a band-aid being put on a very, very deep wound. So, me personally, I have really began to just sit myself down. Anytime I find myself criticizing myself, I stop and ask myself, where is it coming from? What have I seen that has made me believe that who I am right now is not enough? And am I changing myself because I feel like the next girl to me looks better than me? Or am I changing myself because I genuinely want the best for myself? And I think that's a question that you have to ask yourself. I will say it again, your body was never the problem. No amount of surgery will fix what was never broken in the first place. Because your body is enough. You are enough, and you always have been. And until more women realize that, until more women wake up to that understanding, this constant pursuits of perfection, this cycle will just keep going, and more women will keep changing themselves, shifting themselves, shrinking themselves just to fit into an image that they were never meant to be in the first place. I think a lot of women are walking around with internal wounds. If you don't address the internal issue first, nothing you do outside of yourself is going to heal that. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye.